Ask yourself, do you deserve millions of dollars? You know you don't deserve it, and God knows you don't deserve it. And if he gave it to you, it would be a punishment. There's nothing worse than giving a person who's not ready for money. Because they're going to fuck their life up. Another thing I want to say about the universe and how it works. God only gives you what you're ready for. And on the rare occasions he gives you something you're not ready for, you're going to regret it. I want to make you all feel better. If you're watching this and you didn't become a millionaire yesterday, I want to make you feel better. Because there are timelines in this multiverse where you caught that $1 million pump and you got in your car and you crashed. Could have happened. You could have caught that $1 million pump and somebody you love would have heard about it and got excited and tried to drive home a little bit quicker and crashed their car. And if you could then, with hindsight, be offered 2 timelines, do you want that pump with these scenarios, or do you want to ignore the pump and everyone be healthy? You choose the timeline you are currently in. So you don't need any FOMO. You're fine. As you see crypto pump, yes, you need to allocate a certain amount of time and finance to crypto, of course. But you need to be more focused than ever to be successful outside of it. I know this seems counterintuitive. I know you're sitting to think, but Tate always says work, lock in. I do. But you are making a deadly mistake with this asinine conflation between perma-loss and getting wrecked and work. They're not the same thing. So this terrible FOMO, this chasing shiny objects to imagine this perfect world where you pulled off this free money from the sky that you didn't even work for. You need to get that out of your head. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. So that FOMO that you feel, that negative emotion that you feel, that sadness that you feel, that inability to sleep, that anxiousness, that nervousness, that should have you in the gym training harder than you've ever trained. But instead, what it has you doing is scrolling up and down Twitter, refreshing the page, hoping that's going to somehow turn back time, which is a mistake. If God decided you didn't need to catch that pump right now, then his plan for you is for you to dedicate yourself and rain dance, which I'm going to talk about because I've talked about it before, until you eventually catch the pump when you deserve it. You know, I wasn't even rich till I was 27. And I think back and I thank God I wasn't rich when I was young. Because if I got rich before 27, I wouldn't be strong like I am now, and that's worth more than being rich. And I wouldn't be able to fight like I can now, and that's worth more than being rich. And I wouldn't have the lessons that I say to you on all these emergency meetings, and that's worth more than being rich. And I wouldn't have learned how to get bitches broke, and that's worth more than being rich. I like all the lessons I had when I was poor. That's why I'm top G. Because I have the poor man's lessons and the rich man's money. So if God's decided you need some more of the poor man's lessons, then that is a blessing. You just have to be prepared to do the right things to learn them. Refreshing a Twitter page ain't gonna teach you. The fight gym's gonna teach you. Taking the L on your chin like a man and saying, yeah, good, I didn't deserve that money yet. Ask yourself, do you deserve, for all of those for all that Twitter scrolling you've done, and for all those messages you've sent in Telegram, do you deserve millions of dollars? The universe is telling you there are lessons you need to learn. It's never happy. It's never smiles and rainbows. You do not get to wake up and scroll Twitter and make millions and be happy and smile. And the ones who do are not going to end up happier than you. You have to wake up, realize life is shit, do the right thing even though you don't feel like doing it, dedicate yourself, knuckle down, grind out, brutal, terrible, hard labor. And you need to have your soul and body coarsened by the monotonous grind. And if you do it the way you're supposed to do it, the lessons you will learn along the way makes money worth having. There's no point having money if when you walk into the club, nobody gives a fuck who you are, nobody respects you? What's the point in money then? You see it all the time in Miami now, these crypto kids spending 300-400 grand on bottles in a night. Who cares? Nobody. If you do manage to make a whole bunch of money, you need to invest in yourself. You need to, that's when you gotta get in the fight gym. Because we don't give a shit about how much money you have. We care about the quality of your character as a man. That's what we care about. That's up to you if you want to upgrade your character or continue to scroll Twitter and try and make more Solana, I guess, as if that's going to change something. So ask yourself a question. If you were honest, and I were to say to you, do you want a 1% chance of making it today? Flip, you can roll a dice with 100 sides, a 1% chance you might pull it off. Or do you want a 100% chance you're going to pull it off in 3 years from now? 3 short years, 100% you would have made it. The intelligent people would say, well, 3 years of working, learning lessons along the way, being poor enough to appreciate money once I have it, plus a guaranteed success, I'll take the 3 years. But most of you, if offered that chance, wouldn't take the 3-year path. You would take the instant gamble bet because you are so monumentally lazy that you would rather roll that dice, lose, and sit at home with no prospects, no hope, no chance, nowhere to go, than dedicate yourself to something for a little while. Which shows a monumental logic fail in the way that your mind functions. Because the 3 years it will take you to get to the guaranteed success are not wasted. They are spent teaching you things you're going to need to know once you get there to be the man you're supposed to be anyway. Because if you want to play this game, you need to be working as hard as possible. And there's a few reasons for that. The first reason is, if you're going to play a coin flip game, you need as many coins as possible. If I said you need to get 10 heads in a row to become a millionaire, and you only have 10 coins, what's your chances? Low. If you have 1 million coins, what's your chances? Much higher. You need to have ammo. So if you're going to play this game, if you want to be in the trenches, if you want to gamble, if you want to play minus sum games, you need to be more focused on doing things outside of these games. The people I know who are successful from crypto are successful in things outside of crypto. And they take a gamble, they win. Take another gamble, they lose. Take another gamble, they lose. Take another gamble, they win. So what crypto is good for doing is turning your money into more money. But you have to be careful that you are not falling in the trap of using up your time and not turning it into money. You can only make money one of two ways. You trade your time for it or you trade your money for it. If you are broke, you have more time than money, so you give up your time for money. If you're rich, you have more money than time, so you give up your money for money. But in the crypto world, trying to turn your time into money is a devastating trap. What you should be doing is using that time to make money and then turn that money into more money via crypto. This puts you in a stable position where a crypto loss is not devastating because you have an income, primarily. And I'm in that position because I make money outside of crypto. Let me tell you a really universal thing that applies to all realms of life. And I just said about easy come, easy go, but that's what the crypto problem is. People are making money now so easily, they're losing scope of what money is. And I grew up in the real world. I grew up in a world where 10 grand got someone killed. Crypto's got it all messed up to the point now where people think 10 grand is absolutely nothing. Primarily, the true wealth that you obtained from making money in the olden days were the lessons you learned as you made the money. If you had a sofa shop, you had to learn how to do taxes. You had to learn how to deal with the government. You had to learn how to sell to customers, how to be polite, deal with customer support. You had to learn how to deal with international business. Let's assume the factory you bought from was from another country. You had to learn how to have staff, keep them motivated, how to sell. You'd have to be on time and diligent and organized to keep your store open and clean and functioning. You would learn things. It's easy to win at anything if you're good at other things. If you want to make it in crypto, the best way to guarantee that you do is to make it outside of crypto. The best way to make it in crypto is to make it outside of crypto. If you're making millions outside of crypto, you're going to be fine in crypto. You don't need to take the huge risks. You can buy Bitcoin and ETH. You can wait. You're not going to panic sell. You can DCA. And in the end, you're going to win. The majority of my wealth is Bitcoin and ETH. Boring. Why is it boring? Because I have huge pools. So why do I need to risk? A lot of the young people aren't interested in these because they don't have enough money to get into them. I've once again told you how important it is. You finally understand you need to get some money before the wealth divide is cemented into humanity and you never stand a chance of escaping. I've explained that at length many times on previous emergency meetings. But the best way for you to make it in crypto is to make it outside of crypto. And this applies to anything in life. You have to amplify your strengths. Amplify what you're good at, because that allows you to do other things. The easiest way to make it with girls is to make it outside of girls. You want to make it with girls and you're running around talking to girls all day. You're never going to be as successful as if you make it outside of girls. Get your fitness right, get some muscles, get some status, get rich, get a big house, get famous, get smart, get funny, get charismatic, make it outside of girls, and now you make it in girls. The easiest way to make it in business is to make it outside of business. Forget money. If you pull up to work, you're in shape, you're on time, you speak well, you're dedicated, you're in first, you're out last, and you're prepared to knuckle down, you're going to win. You're going to win if you just turn up looking good, confident, well-spoken, built well. All of that happens in the gym and practice at home. That doesn't happen in business. So if you're sitting at home saying, how do I make it in crypto? In this crazy, unprecedented, brand new, hyper quick, ultra competitive PvP minus some game, I would say the best chance you have is to make it outside of crypto first. Get your brain sharp, train hard in the gym, open up a real business, make some real money outside of crypto, get a good network, get some good friends, build a life for yourself you're happy with. Now you can take risks in the crypto world. But that all takes real work. Money amplifies who you are. If you're a loser and you get rich, you're a bigger loser. If you're a G and you get rich, you're the top G. I've talked about this at length. I've explained that if you see a little dork with glasses on getting out of a Lamborghini, you assume he's a mega dork. And if you see a big, strong, scary-looking man getting out of a Lamborghini, you assume he's a killer or a crime boss. The Lamborghini doesn't change who he is, it only amplifies, and money's exactly the same. Easy come, easy go. That is something that you've heard said thousands of times for a reason. And crypto is the easiest come money, which is why you see all these people on the internet talking about how they lost it all. It's amazing how the human heart is infected with a permanent and never-ending greed. Doesn't matter how much you have, you're greedy. This built the modern world. No matter how many skyscrapers were built, someone wanted to build a bigger one. No matter how much land was conquered, somebody wanted to discover more land. It built the modern world. But we're now in a position where nobody is building anything. We are simply being as greedy as possible in a minus-sum game. Crypto isn't even a zero-sum game. Zero-sum means win-lose. So if I put in $1 and you put in $1, one person walks away with $2, the other person walks away with 0. This is a minus-sum game, actually, because there's a whole bunch of fees involved for the platforms. So it's a minus-sum game that this whole crypto world's become. Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure you do not fall into the devastating conflation that I previously described. And that devastating conflation is confusing work with simply losing money. The reason this conflation happens is because work sucks, and work makes you feel unhappy because you don't like buckling down and getting work done. So because the feeling is generally a negative one, you, in your amateur mind, will conflate all negative feelings with work. So a lot of you will say, I'm working, I'm in the trenches. You're not working. You're scrolling Twitter, you're talking in Discord groups, and you're losing all your money. That's what you're doing. Now you call that work because losing all your money feels bad and going to work feels bad. Therefore, if they both feel bad, they must be the same thing. But they are not, because when you work, you create. When you work in McDonald's, you create a hamburger. When you work on a construction site, you create a building. If you're buying crypto coins, you are not creating anything, and you're not even creating wealth. And the truth about life is that there is no easy way out. There is no shortcut home. It's rocky. It's round 10. It's a slugfest. It's broken eye sockets, and it's swinging. That's all life is ever going to be at the top. The path I offer you will never be the easy path, because I never walked it. I don't know it. I'm not sure it even exists. I've heard stories from people who have told me these fantastical tales of the easy path. And they seem to be well put together people with a nice suit and a nice watch and a nice car and a big smile. And they told me how easy it all was and how they just pulled it off. But I don't believe them, because I've never lived it. Maybe it does exist, but I never saw it with my own eyes. I never walked it with my own feet. I don't know it. I can't give it to you. I can't tell you where it is. I can't teach it to you. The only thing I can teach you is the long, hard work for a guaranteed result. That's all I've got for you. All I've got for you is the very simple logic that another pump is gonna come, that you'll catch it if you're inside of the right networks. If you're making money, if you're dedicating yourself, if you're strong, if your mind is sharp, if you're focused, and you're making enough money to have it sitting around the bank, you're gonna get rich. Is it gonna happen today? No. Tomorrow? Probably not. Eventually? 100%. If you want to get good at life, I can teach you how to do that. And that will translate into all areas of your life. It'll translate into your marriage. It'll translate into your friendships. It'll translate into the street fight you inevitably get in. It'll translate into the jail time you'll probably do at some point in your life. It'll translate into crypto. It doesn't matter. I can teach you that. But I'm not flying around in a crypto hot air balloon, picking up pansies from the forest of insignificance because they're scared of getting their shoes dirty. It doesn't interest me. I've never seen that hot air balloon. I don't believe it exists. When I was in that forest, I had to fight the pack of wolves. I was busy fighting. I never looked up to the sky. I can't even tell you if the hot air balloon's real. Maybe it's real. These other people talk about the easy path. Maybe it exists somewhere. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. So the lessons here. Firstly, it is absolutely brutally arrogant for you to feel FOMO over money you don't deserve. Firstly, that's gonna anger the universe. And I'll tell you how it angers the universe. And I'll tell you how you'll get punished for it. You'll feel FOMO over money you don't deserve because you didn't earn it and you've done nothing spectacular and nobody knows who you are and you're not interesting or funny. Your dick's of average size and you barely use it because women don't like you. And you're sitting at home thinking you deserve $3 million on the back of a coin launched by the most important man on the planet. And you're mad you didn't pull it off. So because of that, that FOMO will eat you alive inside until you end up aping your life savings and you're gonna lose it all. And that's going to be God teaching you a lesson. Because if you had more of a brain, you'd sit and think, I don't deserve that money, so whatever. I'm going to get back to the hard work. Get back in the real world. I'm going to knuckle down. I'm going to make some money. My time's coming. But because you're so arrogant and you think you deserve that pump that you didn't, you're now tilted and you're going to lose your life savings in your house. Gambling on bullshit. That's what's going to happen. God's going to punish you for your brutal arrogance. If you want to be good at something that you don't seem to be that particularly good at, then you need to identify, well, what am I good at? Let me focus on that. And then you can hire the right people around you to do the things that you're not so good at. So you spend all of your time only doing the thing you're a specialist in, which increases the value of your time so you make as much money as possible. So if there's anything else in the world that you're better at than losing money in the trenches, and if you were actually to do a P&L in your life, you'd probably realize you've made more money doing other things than you've ever made in crypto. Then what you should be doing is doubling down on that thing, making as much money as possible, and finding someone else to do that shit for you. You should only spend your time doing what you are good at. This is an extremely important concept not many of you understand. The final lesson. You need to self-analyze and self-reflect in all realms to make sure that you're not on the wrong path. If you do not change the direction in which you are heading, you're going to end up exactly where you are headed. I told you to go south to escape the forest. You are walking west. If you continue to walk west, you will end up in the wrong place. So to self-analyze, I want you to genuinely think across the coming weeks. If you are conflating the stress and pain of losing money and praying to find a pump or a shiny object with the actual tasks of work, because they are different things. If you do feel FOMO for money you didn't deserve, then you need to take that energy, take that feeling, that emotion, those chemicals in your brain, and flip them into power and go and train like you've never trained in your life. So take your FOMO and put it in a correct place. Use the energy in a positive direction. The third lesson, you need to learn to focus on what you're good at so you can outsource what you're not good at. You shouldn't be cooking your own meals. Waste of time. You should be able to do what you're good at a rate that pays you higher than the cost of having someone to cook for you. The time should be too valuable. An hour to cook your food, you should be able to make more money in that hour and hire a chef and still be left with a profit. Focus on what you're good at. The fourth lesson, if you want to get good at something, get good at everything else. The better you are, the higher you are achieving in realms outside of the realm you're aiming to conquer, the more likely you are to be successful. Especially if you become expert at something you have a genuine talent for. There will be energy in the universe. Energy that you can grab and transform into the building blocks required to improve your life in all realms. But none of it's going to matter unless you're prepared for it. None of it's going to matter unless you're doing due diligence on yourself, paying attention and ensuring you're the best possible version of yourself, and that you're not conflating the perma pain of being exit liquidity with doing something that actually matters. All I know, all I've ever known, all I've ever done is hard work. All I can teach you is hard work. I can give you a guarantee for success. I can promise you you'll have millions. I can promise you you'll have a world-class network. I can promise you you'll know the coolest on the planet, the smartest guys, the most capable guys. You go to the best places, you'll have money. I can promise you all of that, but you have to work for it. This is a lesson for all of you at home. Life is actually extremely simple. It's cause and effect, action and reaction, and the effect of you being monumentally brave, perspicacious, indefatigable, and doing the right thing even when nobody notices is that you will monumentally and endlessly win in the end. It's winning time. And if you're sitting at home watching this, you have to understand, I said winning time is going to be fantastic for the winners. It's going to be terrible for the losers. It is now a meritocracy. No more easy mode, no more games, no more sympathy. Nobody's going to give a fuck about the losers losing. Everyone's going to be celebrating the winners winning more than ever before. I like that because I'm a winner. You have to make a decision if you're a winner or a loser, because if you're a loser, you're going to hate the next 4 years. If you're going to sit around and moan that you have no money and that it's too hard to go to work, that you have no motivation and you're tired, guess what?
You're going to lose.
You're going to hate the next 4 years. These next 4 years are for winners who want to win. Losers are going to suffer more than they ever did, because you know what? The garbage is over. Losers are going to suffer more than they've ever suffered, and winners are going to win more than they've ever won. And if you're a winner, you should be excited. If you're a loser, you better change teams quick, because there's no more sympathy for anybody. This is going to be the greatest wealth creation period in your life. This is going to be the time where it's probably the easiest it's ever going to be to get rich before the schism is final and that the lines are drawn. The rich stay rich, the poor stay poor. If I were you, I would look at this, take the energy from the monumental win, from the comeback story, from the victory arc, take it deep inside of your heart, implement it inside of your mind, build a splinter inside of your consciousness that prevents you from sleeping, prevents you from being lazy, prevents you from giving up. Take all of the energy in from the universe, take it in from God, put it deep inside of your blood, inside of your red blood cells, and do whatever it takes to win. That's what we're going to do, and you're either going to do the same thing and join us, or you're going to end up on the losing team, permanently and forever subjugated and crushed by people who simply tried harder than you.